Okie dokie, I'm back at the Big Bob base on Hills Have Eyes system. What the hell's the name of the planet it's on? West Craven. Okay. So there's the portal. Here's the base. I put my thing way down there because I didn't know how big of a diameter this whole base would be. It shouldn't go that far, though. So we're going to build a deck. Trying to figure out if I want it to be, you know, circular with all the doors facing towards the inside. What do I need to do? Like, it's really, really difficult to figure this out because everything in this game is squares. Except for... No, it's looking like pretty much everything's squares except for that little wedge, and I don't think you can turn these upside down either. Why does it matter? It doesn't. It really doesn't. Okay, so anyways. How are we going to do this? So let's see. 2 1/4. Each dome uses up a 2 1/4 width. Like the diameter of the dome is 2 1/4 of these. So if I was going to do it in just a square, then to do 20, I would need to do 5 domes on each side. 5 domes on each side would be 12, 13. So this would be 13 by 13. Just be a lot of dead space in the middle. I could do like a miniature version of that giant base and try to do 40 domes and just do 10 in each direction. I could do 5 in each direction and make it 20. Man, that would be boring. But we could start out with that and expand it. So we're going to go 5 in each direction. This has got to be 3 wide to start. And then I can do the domes off either side of... I can make it real skinny. Yeah, I'm going to have to make it skinny because I have a choice between 1 wide or 3 wide if I want it to be centered. I'm not doing it fucking 3 wide. I don't want to waste a ton of space like I did with that big one. That big one, I mean, it didn't seem like such a waste because there was just so much going on there, having that courtyard in the middle. It was alright, but it's not going to work with this. So we'll stay away from that side because that's where we're putting everything. We'll build towards the portal. So I'm on... Let's see. We'll just do we're not going to count out the arms yet. We're going to build a deck here first. I got to remember to change the color back. Tempted to do the deck in glass again. I really liked that. So if I'm going to do the deck in glass... Okay, so we got a center deck of 3. We're gonna need to go the full 5 around. Because I need to have room in the middle to put a teleporter, a save puck, what else? Oh yeah, the trade terminal and all that. So all that stuff needs to move up here, and ultimately I'll probably use Save Editor to move the base computer so that when people get the base, if they come back for a second visit, they'll teleport and they'll land here instead of landing down there and having to navigate all stupid-ass stairs. Alright, so we're going to go 4 around. So let's get to work on that. Again, rotating it so the wide gap is in line. Okay, so run into problem right there. It's got 2 things to connect to. You don't want 2 things to connect to. You always want to try to make as few connections as possible so that your connections are accurate. Okay, now this one's going to be harder to hook up because it can also connect down there to that bracing member. As you can see, there's a slight lip there. And I could try to... I could perhaps use these to make it go away. Because that one doesn't connect to anything. That one doesn't connect to anything. So now hopefully this one will be overridden. No, there's still... Oh, I had it. I had it. Bingo. It's not level right here. This whole part is not level. I haven't really followed my normal convention of doing a line and building off of that for this because it keeps running into these little things here and there where it's trying to connect to the braces and stuff like that. I've been trying to build it without having to limit myself to that. Let's see. So that lines up good now. Does this one line up good? It sure do. And this one's going to be a bitch right here. Oh. Okay, yeah, why not? That one lines up pretty smooth looking. I'm going to get this one to go in the way we want it to. You better believe we can't. Seems to only want to hook up that one way, too. Alright, well, there's always this option. Just get that the fuck out of there. Oh, I'm building in white and orange instead of red. Looks like I'll have another opportunity to build this right. Oh, is that garbage? Alright, hot garbage, hot garbage. Here we go. I left and came back, didn't put my colors back. Colors are important to the theme. And again, at some point you just have to give up and be like, this is as good as it's going to get, and just move on with your build. Because, I mean, I could spend like 3 hours trying to make this thing straight and probably still not be satisfied. So if I'm not going to be satisfied, I might as well just skip to that part now and save the 3 hours. Okay, so I've got my central area here. This is where I'll put my teleporter and my save puck and my little building that has the trade terminal in it. Now we're going to build a pathway towards the portal. So let's see. So starting, the first one we lay will be the first one. The first one we lay will be the first one. Alright, and we'll do glass all the way out too. So that's supposed to be the big one. So what did I say we needed to do? I don't know if I want to do 5, but we'll do 5 first. So I'll lay 13 of them. 13. Oh, I'm so dumb. Oh. Look at how off-center it is. It's supposed to be 5 wide with 3 in the middle. Oh. Why? Why couldn't I pay attention to what I was doing long enough? I gotta delete those. First, I gotta fill this goddamn thing back up here. Alright. Well, at least I don't have to delete this walkway. So if I wanted to do 5 on each side, this is as far as it's gonna go. If I do 5 on each side, that's 10. And if I'm doing, so this is going to be 40 domes. I don't know what I was thinking. I mean, I guess I could up it to 80 domes. I could just go for it, but I don't think I will. So we need to get the spacing right so the biodomes overlap a little bit so the drip tray will be lined up. Don't want to make that mistake again, which is in one of the other videos I made that nobody will watch. Again, the color does not matter with these. So that's where the first one's going to go. That's how it'll be squared away right there. And then if I recall correctly, 1, 2, 3. And if you do it, notice, in case this is your first video, the concrete floor panels are a different size from the foundation panels. They don't line up. And what's worse is if you just stand here, we build out this middle thing, which isn't going to get deleted. These panels will get deleted. This is what the biodome rests on when we build it, and we go in and demolish it, so the biodome's just sitting there. So if you just keep going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in a straight line out there, by the time you get to the end, there's going to be a difference in elevation, and sometimes they'll start crisscrossing. It's not major, and in a short one like this, if you're in a hurry or you just don't care about details, it's not going to make a difference because we're only going out maybe 15 of these panels or whatever. So it's not going to be huge, but it looks like ass, and your biodomes won't be centered and square. The elevation ain't going to be the same, stuff like that. So what I do is I found out after like 4 or 5 times laying these decks and paying attention to the ratio that if you center one of these every third one and build back from it, is this third? Yeah, it'll still match up, and because you're connecting it to this pad, it's going to keep it level. So the creep that goes from panel to panel on these foundation panels will be very negligible because you're only going a distance of a couple of them. And as you can see, it's pretty fucking straight, pretty fucking level. But we're not just going to keep going. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, and put another one of these down. And then build back towards it. Always mindful of where you put your cursor. Try to put it in the same spot every time. This could be the best one yet. Not I'm doing this right. 1, 2. Okay, so there's that. This is the first part. Now you need a back deck too, because you need something to put your cursor on. This is just here so your cursor can go somewhere, so it's not trying to place the biodome over at the base of that mountain over there. You see where I'm pointing? You can't. So we're going to put another one on the back of this. And again, we're going to use the same principle we use with the concrete floor panels, which is instead of building in a straight line, we just attach it to the previous row. And that will give us the best result. And again, mindful of where the cursor is when we connect it. So that is probably the best foundation deck I have ever built right there. Every time I do it, I get a little better. The technique gets more refined. I learn a little more. Every time you build a base and it doesn't turn out the way you want, just build another one. And every time it has problems, instead of just doing something else, try to find a way to solve them. And you eventually pick up techniques that you can use later on to where now I have gone from, if you could have seen the first base I built with domes, it was ridiculous. But this is just, I mean, that's just pristine right there. It's got a little bit right here where it's fucked up. And that's it. And I bet I could even fix that if I wanted to. And I will. It's not that important because this is getting deleted. But that was so close to perfect, I had to finish it out and make it perfect. That's perfect. It's a perfect deck. So let's see if we can fit 5 domes on this. So dome placement. When you place the domes, as you can see, this is a 4-panel thing. And this is a 4-panel thing. If you just build it on a 4-panel like this, when you go to delete it, the middle of your dome is going to be right here. And this right here, for whatever reason, you won't be able to select it because the difference in elevation between that and the middle of the dome is so minor that it can't distinguish between the two and it won't let you delete that. So to get around that, because the inside of the dome, the middle's elevated, and then it goes lower as it goes out, and then there's those little water things that run around the outside. If you use 2 panels and make the intersection in the middle, then you can grab either side of the panel to delete it and delete it. So let's put a dome down here. Wife is trying the hardest she can to distract me. I know. Oh, good job, babe. Okay, so we're going to lay the dome so there's pads on either side instead of a pad in the middle. In order to do this, you really need to back up a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and lay our deck over here before we put the domes down, which means I have to get the right thing. Now we can start placing domes. Backed up. The goal is to get the front of the dome. I'm going to point at the screen again that you can't see. You see where my cursor is, right? That edge between the concrete and the foundation piece. And here's our dome. I line it up, get that seam in the front, right in the middle there. Get my little cursor dot in the middle. And drop that bad boy right there. Let's see what we got. Fucking spectacular. Alright, now everything's red so far, and I'm going to leave the domes red too, because I haven't done red domes yet. I like it. But we need a different color for the door. I never want the door to be the same color. So, let's go pick a color first. You can only pick the color from these menus, don't ask me why. Let's see. I've had enough of yellow. I've had enough of green. Had enough of orange. So let's do this. Let's see, blue and white. Well, I don't know, green might be good because, you know, the desert. No, actually blue would be better because of the desert, the blue sky and all that. So there's that. I thought there was like a teal combo right here. We'll try this, and we're going to try it with a couple different materials, because there's different materials you can pick from. See which one really brings it out the best. Oops. Oh, I need pure ferrite, babe. Did you get me any? No. Alright, I can't build it. Stone looks pretty good. Wood looks pretty good, too. I like wood. But I need pure ferrite. And I think I have it in one of my ships. Which just means I need to jump off here onto the ground and start summoning ships. So, here we go. Whee! And I'll get back with you guys once I've got my materials in order. Alright, valuable lesson to base building here. When you're building one of these things where you don't have access to it because it's up in the air, and you're like, yeah, I'm going to build a landing pad. That's not enough. You're never going to get to use that fucking landing pad. It'll be non-stop NPCs every time you need it. So you need to make sure that you build 2 landing pads. Starship inside of object. Interesting considering my starship isn't inside that object. Starship inside of object. What if I will go through here. A landing pad. There, no starship inside of that object. Alright, so now there's 2 landing pads. From what I've read, NPCs can only use 1. So now I'm in the clear and I can actually play the fucking game. And there's our dome. And now we should be able to build a door on it, go in and delete out the panels, and see how everything looks. Alright, and the color I wanted was that teal color. It's not really very bright. Alright, and we were going to use the wood pattern for it. Well, that looks suspiciously like the green one. So let's just get that out of there. If I wanted green, I'd just put green on there. And back over here. What color? Let's see. There's another blue, right? Blue and red. Is there a darker blue? Yeah, there's the blue and orange blue. I'll go with the blue and red blue first. I'll give it a shot. I mean, I haven't used it before. Well, look at that. That also looks green. Still looks green. Really looks green. And looks green. Alright, so we're not using that color. Looks like the only real blue is going to be this blue and orange blue, which I just really don't want to use again, but not a lot of options. Alright. Back up to here, up to the door. So let's see. Whoops. There's the stone one. Made out of bricks. Probably not a good idea. That one looks dark, but interesting. Oop, concrete run. That's pretty nice. And the rust one. Even the rust one isn't really that bad, because it's a symmetrical rust pattern. So we'll go with the rusty blue door. Alright, yep, that'll do. So now we'll go in here, make sure there's no issues with deleting. As you can see, there's a panel on either side, so I can grab it. Okay, so we have our first problem, which is that right there. Interesting. Now, before when I've done this, it was above that, but this time it's not, and I don't know why. Okay, I don't have a big enough gap there. That's the problem. So let's get this fucking dome out of here. Inventory full? Are you kidding me? So we are not built in the right place, which is kind of why I only wanted to build one deck to begin with. I need a bigger gap than that on the very first one. And I believe I did that in the past by starting at the second one and building back to get a wider gap there. So all these are going to be out of square, or whatever you want to call it. Instead of building with the first one, I should have built at the second one. So when you're doing this, if you ever try to build something like this where you're doing a spoke or an arm with a deck on it, you don't want to build to this one right here because you won't have enough clearance for your dome right there. You want to start your pavers on this and then work your way back so you have a wider gap. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So we build that one right there, and then this one right here. Now see how wide that gap is? That is the gap width you're going to need, because that fucking biodome's going to come out to like maybe here on the bottom, and it's going to actually lip over it on the top part of it. And look at that gap right there. Different. So this is the gap you're looking for. And now we'll do the every third paver thing, or every third panel thing. So that right there is a good demonstration of why when you're doing something like this, where you're going to have multiple duplications of the same kind of construction on the base, like buildings, arms, whatever, and you think, well, I'm just going to build all the walls, then all the ceilings, or all the panels, and then all the foundations, and all that. You don't do that. You do the construction, each stage of the construction you do it on as small of a scale as possible, so that you're testing it right through to the end. So you're not going to have... Now, if I had done all the pavers like that, or all the foundations like that, all the way around, I would have wasted 3-4 times as much time as I did just then. So once you're doing something like this, there's 4 arms, we do the whole arm first. That way any problems we run into aren't multiplied by 4 or 6 or whatever the fuck it is you're doing. So here we go. We got to get our color right. And actually, we're going to go with blue domes this time, I've decided. Oh, incoming storm. And the storm will make it harder to place the dome. It always does. So it's blue, blue rust, blue stone, blue wood, blue concrete. Blue concrete's always the smoothest one. Blue wood looks kind of cool. Let's see. Yeah. Blue wood almost looks like black, but we'll go with it. And then we'll go ahead and we'll make the door red. And as always, if you're going to use red, just go with rust. Alright, can't see what color anything is or how cool it looks because of the stupid-ass storm. Get in here for a second. Alright. And as you can see, oh Jesus, not again. I'm back. So we've determined that the domes are sitting the way we want them to and all that. I didn't have any troubles getting in or out of the dome. No need for any kind of jumping or anything to get in there. So we'll move on to the next one, which is going to be blue. And now we can do all the domes once and then all the doors once on this side. I'll put the doors on them. Of course, the doors. That wonderful red color. Oh, now the domes are blue rust, so those will all get deleted. Inventory full. I just built these. Why is my inventory full? Oh, because it's not. It won't put it in my high capacity. I hate that. And then we're going to go ahead and build the ones over here too, so I don't forget which fucking color I'm using. Alright, get the biodomes down right here. There's one. Alright, there we go. Now we can switch colors. Doors snap reliably. You don't have to really, there's only 4 places it can go on here. So you can just kind of blow through this part pretty quick, usually. Alright, so the next part's just going through and deleting all of the pavement pieces here. Oops. Be careful you don't accidentally delete the dome. If I make it through this whole thing without accidentally deleting the dome, I will be so happy. Okie dokie, everything's deleted and all that, and you're probably like, hey, what happens if you fall in there? Well, what happens if you fall in there? You fall all the way to the ground. So we have to do something about that. That means we have to go one deck below and work on something here. Try to figure out the easiest way to do this without falling down. Alright. That's a start. So we're going to make a deck that's one layer below this, which I should, normally that's what I do to begin with, but I've just simply forgotten what this deck is made out of, or the color. It doesn't matter. So we got 2 different sides to this dome. Let me get some more deck down here real quick. And we're going to need to put something under the front part of it here in order to make sure that if people do fall through there, they don't fall all the way to the ground and experience the mind-crushing frustration that I've gone through the 10 times I fell in this fucking construction video so far. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab one of these walls right here. For a minute there, I thought it was going to snap to that. I was going to get pretty upset. Alright. Pop that in right there. And we'll see if we can pop it in here as well. Popped it in right there. Pop that in right there. That's all straight. You can tell by looking at the little buckle things there. So the reason we're putting that there is because we are going to put on what I call the drip tray, which I use on all my orbitals, and just about anything else I make that's off the ground. So we can actually put another panel directly under this. And in order to do that, first we need to lay a deck that we can walk on while we're putting it down. Get our deck built real quick here. And just for looks, we're going to throw one right there and one right there on there. Because in that open spot, people might be able to look in it. You don't want them to see it. There's really not much there. Or maybe you do. I don't know. So we'll make this out of glass again, just like I did with the reanimator one. And of course, with the glass ones, figuring it out from the bottom is just really fucking difficult. But we want it the same every time. I'm not sure. Oh, okay, that's right. You can kind of see up into it, can't you? So this is that right there is that size. And then if I rotate, it's wider. You can't see it, maybe you can, but there are two little dips there. Not dips, there's two little like lighter green areas that show how wide the gap is there. And you can see the minor difference there. These have the tinier green squares. These do not. So we're going to go with do not have. Do not. It should just, because it's really only attaching to itself, it should be no problem to have that continue with the same orientation every time. All right, we've gone too far there. All right, and then we remember to delete this on the way back. And as you can see from up here, that looks all nice and neat. I can't put anything back here to cover that little thing right there, so that has to stay open, because anything I put there is going to cut into the bottom of the dome and interfere with your planning. So let's try to get... All right, we're just going to delete this one. There we go. All right. Okay, so you can see that goes all the way down. And we'll be doing more work on that later, but first we're going to get the other side done. And we don't want those two little dots there. I mean, there's no way for me to point out to you what I'm talking about, because as soon as I move the cursor, it's going to change. So just trust me. You can see a difference when you rotate them. And I think there's a very, very small percentage of the 0 people that are watching this that are actually going to care if these glass panels are oriented consistently. So you see, we got our little thing right here, so there's no way you'd be like, see, you can't fall through there now. No matter how dumb you are, you just can't do it. And that's great. So we got to button it up at the end here so that people aren't falling off of this. And we'll do that by, oops, we don't need that, we don't need that, we don't need that, we don't need that. We don't need this, we don't need that. Now we're just going to drop our little red stubby walls in there, like so. And then we'll drop that. And then we'll drop that. And then just the long one in the middle here. If it'll allow it, it will. There you go. So now you have a OSHA compliant work site where people really probably cannot fall off of this. I mean, if they wanted to, you know how people are. But yeah, that should be good to go right there. So there it is. That's the complete spoke right there with everything but the plants. And you can see my construction down there, which is pretty cool. You know, the fact that you can see it, not the construction itself. And look, the shadow's got all sorts of little boxes and stuff in it, because it's glass. Ooh, Alright. So there it is. So now, as I've done before, I'm going to be like, well, I'm going to have to do something about this. I forgot about that. Where am I going to put the landing pad if it's all like this? The landing pad will have to go off of a part down here, maybe. Do 2 landing pads, one on either side, at the maintenance deck level. So I guess I got to build out this maintenance deck and make it all face the same way. God damn it. Alright. Get all this deleted. Alright, so we're going to put in a maintenance deck here real quick. For the middle part, because this is where people are going to have to come to this middle part and then go up from the landing pad. Because I'm not going to put the landing pad at the end of one of the spokes. That'll look dumb as hell. So instead we'll have 2 landing pads, because you have to have 2 under here, and then we'll have like stairs going up or some shit. I haven't figured it out yet. Just need to put this stuff down. Oh. I don't know what's going on here. Maybe it's because I'm underneath something and it thinks I'm indoors, but it keeps stabilizing the temperature level. Weird. I'll take it though. Yeah, look at the heat is just fluctuating wildly. I think they added something to make it so when people like build makeshift buildings without building a building, they build like walls and floors and stuff. People have been complaining that they're still subjected to the storms and the elements, stuff like that. And maybe this is how they're going to deal with that, which I'm fine with it, man, because the less I got to deal with this shit when I'm building stuff, the better. So if this is going to have enough room for stairs and shit like that, it's going to have to go the whole 5 around that the rest of the deck is. Which, you know, more building, but you got to do it. Got to make this look good. Got to make it functional as well. So there's the maintenance deck all built out here. And then we have to figure out how to put a landing pad in here so it doesn't interfere with the domes. It truly does look like my only option is going to be to put them at the end of the thing, which I don't like. But that's going to be the only thing I got, I guess. So I'm going to have to delete that. Put in the wall. And then to go delete the other landing pad. Both of them. There's got to be a terrible storm while I'm doing it. And I'm honestly, what I'm doing now, I'm not even a fan of the design that I'm implementing here. I don't even think I can implement any safety stuff either. Yeah, I can. Alright. So now we're going to build the little safety railing that goes around this. Now you see what I'm doing here. Is those won't line up, so I'm simply going to build back around until there's not a visible parting line. Because if they won't line up, then I'll just knock that out of there. And you're not going to be able to tell that there's a minute difference. Might not be able to tell anything if I can't get this thing to line up the way it's supposed to. Come on, man. And just bring it back around over here. And where it connects, you don't really notice that this one right here is a tiny fragment off from this one right here. And then we get that out of there. And that out of there. No, actually that needs to stay there. Just looks unsafe like that, so will it ever let me put it back? Alright. There you go. You can't fall off now. Really, really try. Maybe over here you might be able to. Nope. Yep, so you're good to go. You can't fall out unless you got one of those ones with the haulers where like it's got the gooseneck on it. My wife has one of those and she routinely falls off my landing pads. But that's just my wife. Most people won't have that. So there, we've got a landing pad at this end. And we'll have landing pads at... I want to have landing pads on all four, but I mean, I could do that. Let's go see what this looks like from the portal first. And then we'll also get our ship off that landing pad. I've been thinking about possibly this deck down here could be where I put the utility building that'll have everything in it. But I'm not sure yet. Because this is a little more compact than what I did on the super huge 200 dome project. This little courtyard area here. It's not... Oh, well, there's one more thing we gotta do here real quick before I forget. And that's this. It's not gonna let me do that this time. Entered asking. That's okay. Let's put this one right here. And the same dealio right here. Actually, these will both have to be small. Because that dome's got to go there. Like it did on this one. That and that. And because these and the domes don't sync up right, you can't just go through putting little walls in here wherever you want, because they don't, the dividing lines where they snap are always in different places. So that's utterly pointless. Believe me, I've tried. Wasted a lot of time before I realized that no ratio there. Alright, so what was I going to do next? Oh yeah, I want to go to the portal. And also to get my ship off this landing pad and onto the good one. Alright, you come through the portal right here, and there it is. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Get to get the other arms on there and all that, and it'd be like, oh, that's pretty cool. The landing pad at the end of it doesn't really mess it up as bad as I had feared. In retrospect, with landing pads, and this might yet happen, might have to go on the other two arms. Or I can just put one on the end of each one. It's not really going to kill me. It's just an issue of materials. The aesthetics really aren't that bad. And as you can see, we didn't fall off. As much as it tries to make you fall off there, we've overcome that. And I'm going to go delete all this stuff. Do some cleanup. And maybe work on some stairs. I don't think there's any need to record that. So that's going to be it for this. And then once I get the other spokes done, or the other arms, whatever you want to call them, then I'll do another video just showing whatever else I added to it, like maybe the stairs and stuff like that. Maybe even what it looks like after I plant it. Who knows? Alright, that's enough. So there it is. There's 10 domes right there. This will be 40 altogether when it's all said and done. This one's going to be heavily edited, I bet. Later. Alrighty. Get back in the game here. Okay, turn my mic on. So this is some random dude that pops into my games every now and then. It's already happened like 2 or 3 times. Talk to him a little bit, and then he just says, be right back, and never comes back. Whatever. So you can see there's been some changes. First, when I left off the last time, I had finished a whole arm complete with the landing pad down here and the railing around it and the drip trays. And just to recap, that's what that looks like. And I showed you how to build all that, and I showed you how to build the drip tray. On either side, we got that. But I found out that Hello Games updated some stuff, and now when you're underneath these panels, you're actually out of the elements, just like if you were inside the dome. So I put this over the walkways first, and then I came up with a new idea for how to deal with this. So you can see that courtyard's mostly gone. I just kept the outside path to get from arm to arm here. and put little short walls around it and all that. I covered this all up with glass. And then what happened is while I was building this whole thing, I kept running into construction limit reached, which didn't make any sense because from what I've heard, there's an upload limit, like a base has to be under 4,000 pieces for upload limit. And I've seen visual evidence of that. So that's real. I've heard they say there's a 20,000 piece base size limit. Okay, I'm never going to hit that because like I spent hours on stuff and barely hit 2,000 pieces. So that's not really an issue. So what it was, it ended up, this thing had like 2 hours or an hour and a half worth of stairs because I was tired of fucking trying to get back up by jetpacking and stuff like that. So I built an elaborate aesthetic, like spiraling back and forth, helix staircase going right up to the top on this thing. And because I kept hitting that construction limit reached, I thought it might be, well, there's a lot of polygons in the stairs or something. So I deleted all of those, built a little more, and then I hit it again. So it's like, it's not this base. What is going on? So what I decided what I'd do is because I have so many bases in my save, because I've had very large bases that I duplicated to move them away from the portals and then not deleted the original where they have thousands of pieces, I decided I'd go back and delete some of those originals by the portals because no one's ever going to see them. And sure enough, when I did that, it freed it up so I could continue building this base. So 4,000 piece upload limit on a base. We've seen proof of that. They say there's 20,000 piece limit to a base. I guess that's true. Apparently there is a maximum construction limit for your save. And I don't know what that is. I would guess that 20,000 piece limit is the actual construction limit for the whole thing. Because I could have been close to that. I had a lot of bases that were duplicated and stuff like that. And I got pieces scattered all over the place. So that save, I don't know. It has a limit. I don't know what it is. The way around that, of course, is to duplicate your save, delete all your bases, and then just build on the next save, which is what I'll end up doing because I'm not going to be content with 10 or 12 farms. I want to build a lot of them. So I got this finished. So I finished the other arms. I put this lid on it. I put these glass things on the end here just for looks. And I got rid of this courtyard. Normally I put a building that's got like a save puck and a trade terminal in it. And then outside that, I will put a teleporter. But what I decided to do something different here is I moved this down here. I made like an enclosed area like this. And I put 3 corridors, one in each wall here. And then at the end of each corridor, I put a glass room. And so there's your trade terminal with a nice view. There's your teleporter, maybe less of a view there. And then this one's your save puck. So now all your utility stuff for the base is taken care of. It, gets you out of the elements of this absolute shit planet that I was stuck with because it was the only one that would start uploading. Of course, it doesn't upload anymore. Like, it uploaded when I first laid it down. I got excited. I went through, I made it, I uploaded it, and it just shut off the discovery services. So I doubt anyone will ever see it, except for dudes like this that drop into multiplayer, until one day it magically lets me upload, which happened today. Twice now I've magically gotten the ability to upload without the discovery services shutting off. Both of them were on duplicated bases where I moved them away from the portal. So my, LG4 Green Inferno was by a portal, so no one could ever see that anymore. They used to be able to. So I duplicated it from Cannibal Holocaust system to the Cannibal Ferox system. Emeralds are a part of the plot of that movie. So I named that LG whatever it is, Emeralds, and people can see that. My wife can see it, random dude on the Reddit that does my stuff when I ask him to. He can see it, good to go. And then I went back to the Yarbles project, which was on the Clockwork Orange planet, which is a 40-dome platform just a little bit up off the ground. That was right next to a portal, and I had duplicated it and moved it like 500 units away. I deleted the original on that. While I was there, I ran over the base computer just to see, and it actually let me upload it. And then my wife over there went out to it today, and there it is. So the Yarbles one is live. I just gotta, because I moved the base and it's in a valley instead of the side of the hill, I gotta bring the legs down to touch the ground just to make it look good. But it's there. That one's not planted either. But the Emeralds one is. So I've got all this built up. This is pretty much, this base is done. All that's left for this is to be planted. I don't know if I'll get around to planting it or just start building another base immediately. Because I really like building these things and coming up with different ideas for them. So there it is. Let's see. We'll go into photo mode here and get over here in the corner. Give you an idea what it looks like. Oops. And I know normally I just show all the building. I was going to come back and show the extra stuff I did after I got all the arms duplicated. But, I just didn't. I didn't feel like getting dressed. I just wanted to sit here with no shirt on and just drool on myself and do this. There's the portal over there. I want to say this is 700 from the portal or something like that, but with that Yarbles one showing up, I think that I put that a hair over 500 or maybe 600. So I think 500 is a safe distance from the portal. That doesn't mean you're going to get to upload the motherfucker. Who knows? That's just rolling the dice, and you've got to roll a lot of dice and get very lucky to where you can actually upload one. And maybe someday I'll be able to upload this one too. But there it is. And you can see I put all those little decks on there, and then there's the main deck, and that's where the base computer is, where I can't upload anything. And the name of this is Big Bob. It's LG9, I think. LG is, living glass. I don't know why. I just wanted to make it sound like an actual construction project. So this is Big Bob. It's on the planet West Craven in the Hills Have Eyes system in the Guatat cloud, which is just nice. It's just away from the main part of the hub, the Armavirzan or whatever. And it's almost touching the non-Solopsy irregularity or whatever that's called. Kind of at the bottom of the Armavirzan. So if you ever want to visit it. And eventually on the No Man's Sky Reddit, I will post the coords to this once I'm convinced that it can't be deleted and it has been uploaded and all that. So there it is. I completed this project. Relatively quick too, really. This is only like, 2-3 days? Well, 2 or 3 shifts, I say, because there's before work and after work. And I think there was 3 visits to this once I decided to start construction before it was finished. And tonight's construction was pretty crisp. It was really quick because once you get the first part done, you get that first arm done, you decide what you want to do. You just go through the process a couple more times. This is only 30 domes, 3 10-dome arms, and then all this deck right here, which was most of that was a waste of time because I really didn't need any of that, although aesthetically it looks pretty cool. It makes it look a little more solid, a little more believable. But I mean, man, there was stairs. I mean, it was like just a work of art with those stairs. And I ended, spent an hour and a half putting them down and then half an hour deleting them. And I didn't even have to do that. So there it is. Big Bob. And that's the end of that project. Now I'll move on to something else shortly.